Hey foodie friends, today we are making crock pot pork chops because who doesn't love a good crock pot recipe? Ours is special because we don't just slather it in barbecue sauce. We use a spice rub. It really imparts flavor into the meat instead of it just being plain old barbecue sauce. We use 1 tablespoon of brown sugar, 2 teaspoons of black pepper and chili powder, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, paprika, dry mustard, and celery seed. Not to be confused with celery salt, otherwise it'll be way too salty. And 1/2 teaspoon of cumin. We're gonna mix up all of our spices and our brown sugar. We like to have a little bit of sweet in there. After we mix it, we're going to put it onto our pork chops. Just rub it in there, sprinkle it on. If you don't want a super spicy pork chop, tone it back on the amount of chili pepper and paprika that you use. You could also put more brown sugar in so that it's a little bit sweeter. We'll flip these over and get the other side. I also like using this extra thick pork chop. Extra thick means that it's not gonna dry out too fast while it's in the slow cooker. We wanna be careful to not overcook them though, because then they'll just turn into pulled pork, which really isn't the worst thing that can happen to your pork chops, but we are serving pork chops and not pulled pork. I'm gonna let these sit for a minute while I make the sauce. The sauce, I'm just using bottled barbecue sauce, about 1.5 cups. Doesn't have to be 100% exact. And then I'm gonna mix it with chicken broth. You can also use water or beer if you wanna get really freaky with it. This is going to help keep those pork chops super tender and moist while they're cooking. They soak up any moisture that's in the barbecue sauce. And while you want it to be a little bit caramelized and reduced, you also don't want it to get dry, because that's not what we're going for here. We're going for the most tender pork chops you can get. So this isn't gonna blend completely together, but you wanna try and get it as together as you possibly can. Do your best. Put your pork chops in the slow cooker. I did spray this with cooking spray so that they don't stick. You might have a little bit of the spice blend left on your cutting board, and that is totally fine. Doesn't all need to be in there. Depending on the size of your pork chop, you might need all of it, you might need a little bit less. Pour your sauce right over top. We're gonna add sliced onions on top. It not only adds flavor, but I love serving them at the end with cooked onions. You don't have to get totally fancy. They don't need to be totally chopped. I'm just going to very easily slice up 1/2 white onion and sprinkle it on top. We're gonna put this baby on low for 7 hours or high for 4 hours. Set it and forget it. Now that I've been sitting here watching pork chops cook for 4 hours, we're ready to finish them off. I wish you guys could smell this. It is a delicious onion smell. A little bit zingy, a little bit tangy. You can smell it in the air. They're ready to go. We're gonna take them out of the crock pot, and you could just eat them right now if you wanted to, but we're gonna take it a step further. These are crock pot pork chops elevated. Set them on to a heavy duty baking sheet. As you can see here, we've got barbecue sauce, we have those onions that have stewed in all of the spices, and we are going to top it with sharp cheddar cheese. If you want a different flavor and a little bit spicier, use pepper jack, you can use provolone, you could do mozzarella. I like sharp cheddar. Sprinkle it on a good bit. Cheesy pork chops are the best kind of pork chops. Hefty dose of cheese. And of course, bacon, because bacon makes everything better. Get that on there. We're gonna put them under a broiler about 2 to 3 inches away from the heating mechanism for 2 to 3 minutes. Now that we have sizzling, gooey cheese and bacon, we're ready to eat. Simply take these over to your plate. I like mine with mashed potatoes, serve it with rice, serve it with pasta. And of course, you know me, I love a little sprinkle of green, a little parsley. Makes me feel like I'm getting my greens in there. Also makes it look fancy. And ta-da, you're ready to eat. Now is the best part. We get to taste our creation, and I'm super excited because I've been smelling these in the crock pot all day and they smell phenomenal. was everything I could do to not want to eat it right out of the crock pot. So these are falling apart. I basically didn't even need a knife. So tender. They're spicy, but with a sweet aftertaste and gooey cheese. A little bit of salty bacon. It's the perfect texture and flavor combination. I have no doubt you're going to love them. From my kitchen to yours, have a great day.